Welcome back to your favorite pod duo. Myself, Sanford. I'm in the company of somebody quite naughty. Somebody who's up to quite a lot of activities of late. So, need no much time. There's no secret, it's you.
Yeah, it's me.
It's you like last time.
It's
so,
me.
But since the last time we met and now you've been up to quite a lot of things.
Not really. I don't think that's a lie.
We'll dig into that in a second. Welcome. This is episode 2 of the first season, Rooted Realities. You know, I was thinking about rooted realities. Huh?
Yeah.
If your R's and L's are a problem.
Ish, you're going to mess it up. You're going to mess it up.
So you have to, rooted realities.
Rooted
All right.
realities.
Yeah, on here we talk about quite a lot of things that affect us in day-to-day life. Last time we had an interesting topic. Thanks a lot for the feedback and the interaction. You're looking at the issue of family. And I think quite a lot of you, a lot of people said they enjoyed it.
Yeah, a lot of people said they enjoyed it and they loved it. Yeah.
And learned a lot of things.
Yeah, and they learned a lot. Yeah.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching this and you haven't yet subscribed, that is illegal. Eh? For you to enjoy the content, you have to subscribe.
Yeah.
So there's that bell there. Hit it, ding, ding, and then you'll be getting the notification when anything drops on this platform. This is Rooted Realities TV. It's not just a podcast that we do. We've got movies. We've got at close to camera. What's that again?
Face to camera.
There's face to camera. Yeah. There's the drop. There's a tremendous amount of content.
Yeah.
All right. So today we're doing episode 2, as I said, and you do a better job than me in cueing the guests. So drum roll. What are we talking about today? And who do we have?
So today we're going to be talking about breaking the siege of addiction.
Yeah.
And on this episode we have a mother, an author, a doctor, a doctor, a co-founder of Restoration Ministries International.
Yes.
And please, everybody join me. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Nawa Phiri. So lovely to have you today with us. We appreciate you taking your time to come here with us and just talk about breaking things. Breaking things. We're going to break things. We're going to break things. So we're going to be talking about addictions, breaking free from addictions and all those things, the negative things, that how you enter addictions, how you can come out of them, and everything like that. Yeah. So maybe we can begin with, what is an addiction? Like, I'm sure many people are thinking, ish, an addiction. But like, yeah, more or less addiction in Chichanit. Yeah, so I think we can just break it down to the people, what addictions are.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be on this program with you. And I'm excited about the topic.
Yes.
Because addiction is something a lot of people are involved in and they don't really realize it.
Yeah.
Because we usually attach it only to drugs and alcohol and such stuff.
Yeah.
But addiction is anything that has trapped you. It can be an emotion, so you can be a social addiction or any type of thing that traps you.
Yeah.
It holds you captivity. You want to come out, you can't come out. And you have to do it, whether you feel like it or not. There's just a pressure that it brings on your life. So we can call that addiction in a very simple way. So
it's not only drugs or what are people addicted to?
Betting.
Alcohol, betting, okay.
Borrowing.
Even borrowing.
In fact, I appreciated one of the moments you were speaking about it.
Yeah.
I was picking something that I also need to deal with. Nowadays, these addictions are just right in your face,
Yeah.
Exactly.
You are pressing your phone and WhatsApp and the suggestion comes, borrow, just and do that. And then once you open that door, my goodness.
It's over.
Yeah,
you keep going into debt.
Yes,
you
yes,
keep
yes,
going
yes,
into
yes.
debt. And it actually becomes an addiction for some.
Yes.
To always borrow because they always want to have money.
Yes.
It gives them a sense of control, because addiction comes with a release of satisfaction,
Yes.
excitement, Dopamine is released in your system, and it feels good for a while. So it feels good to borrow money and have it and be in control.
Yes.
And then it's like, wow, I can do it again.
Yes,
And I can do it again. And you get addicted to borrowing.
Yes.
So now, thanks for that introduction to what addiction is. So next thing is the symptoms. At what point do you realize now this is becoming an addiction? It's not just a hobby. It's not just something I like to do. It's not a pastime anymore. At what point should you be worried?
Yes.
I think you should get worried when it begins to oppress you. It begins to put you in a trap and you can't get out. We kind of similar, we kind of compare it to Pharaoh. The way Pharaoh oppressed the children of Israel, and they were no longer working for themselves, they were working for him. So when addiction becomes something that you do for it, like we only mentioned a few addictions, but for example, a workaholic.
Yes.
There are some people who are addicted to work, all right? So when that begins to take away from you, any addiction, when it begins to take away from you, whether it's self-esteem, whether it's your destiny, whether it's your identity, or any of those things, once it begins to take away from you, then it's no longer just a pastime or a hobby.
Right. Is there, are there things that cause addictions? Is it something, how can I put this question? When somebody starts abusing drugs all of a sudden, there's something that is attached to it. So is there a certain thing we can put to that to say, no, actually people get addicted because they are...
Like what, triggers maybe?
Maybe triggers.
Well, you see, when addiction comes, it's not something that people plan, Sometimes, like you called it, a pastime. You are in a crowd of young people and they're all trying this thing. So you try it. And like I said, it gives you a certain high. So you love what it did to you. So you want to do it again without realizing that it is actually drawing you. Yes. I want you to remember that these things are spirit. They are spirit. It may look like a cigarette in a piece of paper, some tobacco in a piece of paper, or weed in a piece of paper. But there's something behind it that, makes people get attached to it. So you're in a crowd and you want to fit in.
Yes.
Right? So you have social pressure. So these are some of the triggers. Social pressure. Right?
Pressure, yes.
I want to fit in. I want to be like everybody else. I don't want to be different. And usually they will tell you, you're different. You're a nerd. You're not fitting in. So the mocking can make you want to give in. Right? So those are some of the triggers. Other triggers are sometimes when people are bored. They don't know what to do. So they start off on their phone and they're flipping, and up pops some pornography.
Yes.
And then it looks like, ooh,
Wow.
and it does something to you. All of them, they trigger something in your mind. They trigger, the same way cocaine or all these things trigger something in your mind. So it triggers something. They look at it once, they want to see it again, and they want to see it again. So you find that before they get addicted, triggers like boredom, loneliness. Some people feel lonely, and a lot of people feel lonely nowadays. I don't understand, but anyway, loneliness, and many other triggers. The triggers depend on the type of addiction that people go into, right?
Yes.
So, for example, the pornography trigger will take you into sexual immorality and abuse of that nature,
Yes.
And so it's these triggers that cause people, in a very innocent way, they didn't even think they'd get addicted, and then they find themselves wanting more and more and more. And the more you want, the more it traps you. There are several triggers. Maybe you can mention some which I haven't mentioned.
No, sometimes just three. Like you spoke about maybe sports betting, So you just want the thrill. Somebody was saying, actually, the reason why people bet too much is the thrill of just what happens if I lose, what happens if just some people just want to live on the edge. So
but some people don't even think they're going to lose. Most people don't think they're going to lose. There's always this, it's like, say, for example, when there was AIDS, when there was a sickness of AIDS, they just never thought I would be the one to get it. Why should it be me, And so you find even losing, they were thinking, it surely can't be me, And like you say, some of them it's a thrill of it, but some of them it's to feel in control. And some of them it's because of a lack. A lot of men, I kind of go into the areas, the areas that are called kwa. I go into the areas, and it's amazing how many men are into betting. And the betting, centers are right there. And you see when they start, it's like there's a lack, and they're looking at their salary and they think, I can actually multiply this. And they want to do more for the family. So it's need. It's need. And it's amazing to tell you that need can be a trigger. Yes. Need can be a trigger. And that's how come we need to be content.
Whether it's need for attention, for money.
Need for attention, for money. Those who have need for attention, they're addicted to sorrow. They're addicted to praise. They always want somebody to tell them you're looking nice, and stuff like that. So need is also a trigger. And because there's a need, they go to the betting center and...
Now you will come in with yours before I lose my thought. This is a topic that seems to be very dear to you. You've gone to the extent of even writing a book. You seem to carry a burden, as if to say, to be liberated from it.
Yes. I have written a book. It's entitled Free Indeed, just as we're discussing, Free Indeed. And I've got the poster over there, Free Indeed. And it's a burden to me because the times when I have Christians coming into my office for prayer, and I find the oppression they shouldn't have. I'm like, you're born again, you're spirit-filled, you're a tongue talker. What is this oppression about? Can people be free?
Yes.
Like Jesus said in John 8, verse 36, if the Son of Man shall set you free, you shall be free indeed. So I got weary to see people in praise teams needing deliverance. People in
intercession and
exactly. So the passion is real, and that's how come of course, not everything is in here. You sometimes can't put everything in the book, but there is a lot in the book. There is enough in the book.
Right.
Yeah.
amazing.
So what are some of the ways to break free from addictions? I know one of them is deliverance. I think it's even in your book. Yeah, I think it should be chapter 6 maybe. I don't know. Yes. It's in your book. But
I'm glad that you've been reading the book.
yes. So, but then you said something like deliverance isn't only breaking spirits. So can you just clarify more on that? Because some people are thinking deliverance, it's just casting out demons. But what really is deliverance? How am I delivered?
Yeah. Deliverance, like you said, is not as casting out devils only. That's part of it. But deliverance is a change of state of being. Right. When somebody has changed their state of being from this place where they were to where now they are totally free, that's deliverance. So you can cast out devils and the person is not free.
Yes.
And living as the Bible says, sometimes you find they come back 7 times more. Yeah. I was in Chipated not so long ago, and when we'd want to pray for people, I would notice a lot of helpers would appear, and most of them thought all they needed to do is come out, come out, come out, come out. So they are casting out, and they think that is all there is to deliverance. There's a lot there is to deliverance. The person has to move into a place of a change of their thought life, a change of different things, and they come into total deliverance.
Okay, so it's possible for for demons to be cast out and they remain the same. Like they don't change in the way they live, or they don't change in what they used to do. They just remain the same.
When you cast out a devil, we're not dealing with your thoughts, right? We're dealing with the impact the devil had on you, right? If the devil was oppressing you, maybe with sexual immorality, let me say, and he was oppressing you with that, and that was the bondage, and you couldn't get free, and you didn't know where all this was coming from. So the first thing we deal with is we must get rid of the source. Where is this coming from? You know, what spirit is behind this? In other words, what's the strong man? So when we get rid of the strong man, we take away his armor. But after that, we have to rebuild the house in which he lived. Because in the house which he lived, there are certain thought patterns, all right?
Yes.
Because you were probably dressing skimpily, you know? And I was amazed listening to stories about a certain location where these young girls, I mentioned in the morning that an 11-year-old girl pregnant, I mean, that just broke my heart, you know. But I discovered that they are addicted to sex, these little children. They have a sexual addiction, all right?
Yes.
So they dress skimpily. They behave, what can I call it? Suggestively, you know, and all of that. So, and then they take a drug, or is it a medicine or something that makes them need to have it, you know? And so now what happens is when we cast the devil out, we've dealt with the strong man. But we now have to help in the change, in the way of dress.
Yes.
Self-esteem has to be restored. So the enemy can find another entrance. So we need to be able to now take the person through after deliverance procedure, if I can put it like that.
Right.
I appreciated you're making reference to an encounter you had. A niece of yours was hoping to visit your house, and she said it was hard for her to locate the place because the environment around it changed, you know, roads and so on. Now relating that to the life of a person, what are some of those things in their environment that they might have to work on to secure themselves?
To secure themselves. Well, you know, it's like when you do deliverance, in the same way, there was a resolve by somebody to change the environment. There has to be a resolve by the person you're praying for to make up their mind, I'm going to start a renovation of my life, all right? Because a renovation is breaking down.
Yes.
And breaking down, you don't break down to make smaller.
No.
You know, you break down to make larger.
Big,
So when you begin to break down in your own life, you know, the first thing you have to do is, I resolve to go through this breaking down process.
Resolve.
And when they make that resolve, I think we read in the book of Daniel chapter 1 and verse 8, that Daniel resolved, you know. So it's very key. That's the starting place. You resolve. And not only that, you can't resolve without identifying where your problem is.
Yes, identifying.
There's some people who are like, I don't know. You know, I don't know. And they come to my office and they say, you're prophetic, so tell me what the problem is. I'm like, no. You tell me what your problem is, because unless you identify your problem, we can't really help you, because that's the starting point, right? You identify your problem and you resolve to change it, all right? So you begin the process. Some people it's quick, because deliverance can be quick for some, because the strong man, the spirit behind it is no longer there. So now, like, you're now a human, you're now a person that can relate to God. And when you ask God when you make a resolve, God comes down, he responds, grace is given to you, strength is given to you, courage is given to you. So you find the things you could not do before, you can now do, right? And that's what now makes the two look like they're the same. The casting out of devils and the change of state. They look the same, because after the devil is cast out, the change of state is so easy. It almost flows immediately. You know, They walk out of the deliverance room. The next day you meet them, they're dressed decently, you know, even without being told. Yeah.
Okay. So how can somebody create a safe environment to avoid triggers?
Yeah.
To avoid triggers, maybe, I don't know. What are some of the triggers?
Yeah.
Maybe perform, they see some things and all that. So what are some of the things that people can do to avoid those triggers? How can they create a safe environment?
Okay, they have to put, they have to first of all understand, right, what the triggers are. If the triggers are in the phone and there are certain pages you used to go to, block them. All right? Block them, delete them. Whatever you need to do, remove, because you know that that thing is a trigger in your life. All right?
Yes.
If the trigger is what can I think of? Loneliness,
Yes.
you know, or social anxiety, or these anxieties that
Let
you
me
guys...
even begin to delete some applications.
You better. You know, can't you even block these betting people? How come I don't get them? You know, because you must understand that also, you must understand that this network doesn't just come automatically.
Yeah.
Maybe once you went to it, right? So now the algorithm is going to work in such a manner that it will begin to bring to you those things that, you know.
That you once went to.
Yes. So that one-time trigger must then therefore cause you to delete the whole thing. Delete them. Get rid of whatever isn't of God. That's one way. But if it's loneliness, for example, begin to worship. Begin to sing. You find the company of Jesus beside you will take that away.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have to do what the opposite of what is creating the trigger. They have to do that. What's the trigger all about? They have to do something that will stop the trigger, that will cancel the trigger, because as long as, imagine you're delivered and the trigger is still on, right? It's like moving with a gun. That is a safe catch. I mean, it's a very sad story. I have a friend who had a gun and they didn't have, they didn't, it wasn't on safety. And I don't know what they did, but the gun just went right through them, and that was the end of it. Dead, gone. And imagine that now in relation to the different things we've talked about. The trigger comes on, you're blown up again. And you know that when the enemy comes back, you feel worse.
Yes.
You feel bad that you can't conquer, You feel, and sometimes then you surrender yourself to it. You're like, okay, whatever. Let me just be a drunkard. Let me just be. And then the more people scold you, the more you're like, nah, never mind. I'm surrendered to this thing.
I think just I have a thought on that part. The more people scold you, how can a family? What's the role of a family in all this? Let's say I'm addicted to drugs. How can the family help me? Because there are some families that would be just saying, oh yeah, he's addicted. Hey, leave him alone. What and what? But then I think that is making them more addicted. So how can they just work together with the person that is addicted to say, okay, let's work together, than putting them away, putting them aside.
So we're talking about family support when people are going through different situations, right? And we're sitting at the table, the dining table, and I can't handle the smell of alcohol, but so we're sitting there and, he's sitting there, we're all sitting there. And, the first instinct was to scold him or to tell him, why do you keep going? Yeah, why, And I know many families feel like that's what they need to do because the emotion and pressure they feel. But at that very moment, I turned to them and I said, did you know you're a very good guy? And when I said that, later he told me, no one has ever told me that. No one has ever showed that they believe in me. To the point where he never even collected his results, grade 12 results. Because he was told he was a failure, And I said, let's go and get them. We got them and discovered he did well.
Wow.
Right, you know, and so we needed to start replanning. But what am I saying? The words we speak to a family member that is under any form of addiction. Let the words be positive. And number 2, love them. Love them. Again, I had another instance where somebody, you know, they're so addicted to this thing. They don't have time for themselves, you know, their clothes. And I said to somebody, take all their clothes and wash them. And when they washed the clothes, they were shocked. The love. It's like somebody actually thought of me, you know, because people don't think of them positively. So just the thought of. So the family has a major role to play. They have to bring that person close, because if they push them away, they're pushing them away into other vices, you know. So you find instead of just alcohol, then the next thing they can get into is gay issues and all sorts of things, you know. So don't push them away. Draw them close. But number 3, right? So the words must be positive. They must be love. But number 3, pray unceasingly for them. I pray and for people that I know, and I'll say, Lord, mercy. Right? Because in the prayer, you'll identify what it is. It could be a generational curse, you know. There are some families where drunkenness is a generational curse. It could be a generational curse. So in the prayer, you'll identify all those things. You'll identify what is the source. And in the prayer, you'll actually help to set the person free. So I've mentioned 3 things families can do.
I think this goes quite a long way. Now, what interested me was when you talked about even something, because I know when you talk about addiction, it's easy to identify the negative things, the drugs, but you spoke about something as innocent as work, right? Which in itself is not going to come as a wrong thing. I work hard, I have to feed my family, my work, I was sleeping at 02 last night and such. So I'm just in the danger in how that even things that are supposedly innocent can also become bondage and addiction.
It's true, and I think those are harder to identify because like you're saying, one needs to make they must see the difference between work, toil.
Yes.
You know, because toil will lead you to addiction. Work it helps you to do what you need to do, but it doesn't take away your family relationships, doesn't take away your relationship with God. It makes you productive. Work makes you productive, but toil binds you. And that's why it was a curse. So it leads to addiction, and it's a curse, and it's very dangerous. And there are many like that. There are many like work, you know, where they don't look like something I shouldn't do. You know, they look like something which is just normal. So I carry my work home. I carry it everywhere. And they're workaholics.
Even in the taxi, laptop is just there. Even in church,
everywhere.
You think somebody's writing notes, can't they? Excel document.
You know,
and the excuses, I have to pay bills.
I go out of church, you know, and I find somebody sitting there outside, and I'm saying, "You're not coming in. I'm talking to clients." You know, that's being a workaholic. That why can't I just pause for 2 hours and then I'll talk to the clients later? But there's nothing wrong with me talking to the clients in the middle of a church service. You know, it's a client. I'm working. I'm bringing in money, but it's an addiction, which can be.
This subject is quite broad. It looks and feels as if we've just scratched the surface. We need to have take 2. We need to have take 2. Goodness me.
Okay, just one more thing.
There you go.
Just one more thing.
Okay.
Just one more thing. In your book, I'm sure there are ways to break addictions, there are ways to break free. So what is your advice to somebody that's listening out there to say, this addiction that you're going through, what is your advice to them? What
Yes.
could you say to them?
For the hopeless ones, eh?
For the hopeless ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, like here I said, it's a very wide subject.
Yeah.
So even to talk about somebody's freedom can also be another wide subject
Yes,
because
yes.
it depends on the source. But the first thing I'll tell them is come to Jesus.
Yes.
Yes.
Come to Jesus. And when you come to Jesus, he has promised, John 8, verse 36, he whom the Son sets free is free indeed. That's the starting point.
Yes.
Come to Jesus. And if you've already come to Jesus and you're having those bondages, come to him again, this time in a prayer of release, a prayer of letting go, a prayer of asking him to take over.
Yes.
You know, and there's hope. There's hope. There's no one who has reached a place called no hope. There is hope. We read a verse about the tree that even if it's cut down, it will sprout again.
Yes.
So even any life will sprout again. Just hand it over to Jesus.
Okay, let's talk about the book then. Where do people find it? Where can they
Yes.
get it? I'm sure there'll be quite a lot of interest. We've roused for people to look for it. So
Yes,
how are they
yes,
getting their hands on that masterpiece?
Yes, the book is found, first of all, here at Restoration Ministries along Chilimbulu Road, next to Libala Secondary School.
Yes.
You'll find it here. But it's also found in Book World. And it's found in, it's a mall
Okay.
in Chadley,
Okay.
right? Not Munali Mall.
Yes.
Musotunya.
Musotunya,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Musotunya Mall. There's a bookshop right there. Sorry, I've forgotten the name. But I've forgotten the name because the people promoting the book is another team.
Okay.
So they would know each bookshop. I know it's in several bookshops. Even in, there's another major bookshop, Grey Matter.
Great.
Okay.
Yes. So you can find it in all these places and you get a copy. You won't regret.
Yeah.
That's your get-free manual right there, contained in those pages. Quite some precious methods and ways,
Yeah.
relatable,
Yeah,
that people can
relatable.
actually use.
Things that will help you actually be free.
Absolutely. We gotta say sincere, big appreciation.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for honoring our invitation to appear on the podcast. It's the
Thank
first
you.
of many, we hope. Have we
Yeah,
been
yeah,
good
yeah.
hosts? Have you enjoyed us? Have we been like Steve?
No. I've enjoyed myself. I've enjoyed myself. I could have gone on and on and on
Yeah,
and on. If it wasn't for the 30-minute limit, I don't know, we could have gone on. I was so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Yeah.
so
Great,
much
great.
for
Thank
being
you.
here.
All right, lots of amazing content on the Rooted Realities TV platform. We're on YouTube. Something that dropped recently is the movie, the long-awaited movie. People have been watching it. Have you watched the movie?
I have.
You
I
watched
have. I
Who was the
have.
favorite character from it?
Cindy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah.
The title of that movie, if you haven't yet seen it, is Rebuilding Us.
Rebuilding us.
Rebuilding Us, yes, is available on the podcast, on the YouTube channel. Please watch it. Very amazing. I enjoyed myself. I've actually watched it 2 times now.
2 times?
Yeah, after this,
I've
I'm going
watched
to watch
like
it again.
5 times.
The acting was amazing. Good job. All right, so we gotta say our bye-byes. Big thanks to everybody who's been a part of this production. We've got quite a team in the behind the scenes. Everybody making sure everything looks on point.
Yeah,
Kajaka
the
flower,
sets,
this
everything
blah, 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 you know,
else,
it's a big team. So
cameras.
big ups you guys and the production team. We'll be back again with another edition of the Rooted Realities podcast, episode number 3. I can't wait. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you as always.
Been a pleasure.
Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.